Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Mary and I give you an extra warm welcome. I would love it if you grabbed a snack, stayed for a while and click the subscribe button. I would love to have you. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you more than you know. So as you can tell with the title of the video, my Natasha Denona, I think it's Yucca palette. Is it Yucca or Yucca? Let me know down below. Anywho, Natasha Denona's new eyeshadow palette is finally here. So I am going to create some eye looks for you and tell you my thoughts on this palette. So if you would like to see the 3 eye looks I create and my thoughts, then just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, my lovelies, so this new Yucca palette from Natasha Denona. I purchased this through the Natasha Denona website. I was able to use a code for 15% off. I don't know if it still works. I'll put it on the screen here, and I believe Angelica Nyqvist also got a 15% off code. This palette is also available at other retailers like Sephora, Ulta, and Beautylish. You can get a discount code to use on the Natasha Denona website. She's usually really good with shipping, and she really does make sure that the palette itself is nice and secure when it's shipped out. So other than the Biba palette, every other eyeshadow palette I have ordered from her, it's been like perfect condition. Okay, so this palette retails for $69. I'm on the Natasha Denona website, and it has a 24-month shelf life, and it was made in Italia. Okay, so introducing Natasha's 2023 palette of the summer. The Yucca eyeshadow palette is the perfect balance of green brown hues for earthy everyday or shimmering statement summer looks. Her iconic buttery smooth formulas provide all-day wear and seamless applications, including 4 new shades in Natasha's latest sparkling foiled formula. Okay, and here is what the palette itself looks like. It's that soft matte feel to it, which sucks. Dirt and whatnot gets stuck to it, but it's still very pretty nonetheless. Now, I have heard that this reminds people of fall, and then I watched Jarell Mata's review, and she said one of her subscribers stated this palette gave her tropical vibes, and I would say I definitely agree with that. Tropical vibes for summer. So I can see the fall, but when I heard tropical, I said, yes, I think that is more appropriate way to describe this. So here she is, untouched, looking super beautiful. I cannot wait to dig into this palette. I am very attracted to greens. I don't use them often, but I'm very attracted to greens. So 3 eye looks, and I will do swatches afterwards. I don't know why, I like to do my swatches afterwards. I'm weird like that. Okay, eyes are primed, and let's get started with the first eye look. I think I'm going to stick with the greens, and then I think for the second eye look, I'll do more on the warm tone and stick to like these shades here. And then the third eye look, it'll just be whatever calls to my heart. So these 2 here are the cream to powder formula. The rest of the mattes are her creamy mattes. The other ones are like that foiled metallic shades, and it looks like these are the sparklier ones, and then this one's maybe more of a true metallic satin kind of. Either way, I'm excited because I do really enjoy Natasha Denona's formula. Okay, so this is a Sigma and Samantha Ravindal shader crease brush. I think I'm going to start. Let's start with this shade here, the cream to powder, which is Calathea. Now, the names in this palette are hard, so if I mispronounce it, apologies. It's not on purpose, I promise. And this is going to go in the outer corner, and I'm going to tap first before I blend. I've been thinking about what eye looks I wanted to create, so I have like kind of sort of mapped out what I'm going to do, but it doesn't always turn out the way that I picture it in my head. So we'll see. I usually just go in with no plan in mind, but I actually was a tiny bit excited to play with this palette. So yeah, just eye looks have been popping into my head. I don't have too many color stories like this in my collection, and that could be why. Okay, and now with this Melt Cosmetics 23 brush, it's like a fluffy brush. I'm going to jump into this other green shade, which is called Willow, and I'm going to use this to blend out the edges of this green. Hopefully you can see a difference between the two shades. Okay, you can see a difference. Good. And I'm lightly dipping because I definitely want to make sure that I'm starting slow. I don't want too much pigment right off the bat. Green is a tricky color to work with because I feel like you can get overboard quite quickly. Okay, now I'm going to jump into Camu Camu, which looks like a very beautiful bright green. I'm hoping it'll be okay without a white base. This is the Sigma E54. It's like a fluffy flat shader brush. I'm going to start by tapping this in. By the way, my base was tacky. I did not set it. I never set my eye base. As you could see, I'm building this shade up before I try and really blend. I'm mostly doing tapping type of motions, but I feel like it's building fairly well. I'm also going to bring it on the lower lash line. Okay, I don't think I blended in the eye primer all that well because it is looking just the tiniest bit patchy right by the lash line. Not too terribly. Okay, now I'm going to jump into this sparkly shade right here, which is called Elysian, I'm guessing. I'm going to use this little BK Beauty 207 brush, and I did put just the tiniest bit of white concealer, and I am going to spray some MAC Fix Plus, dip the brush in here because I don't want fallout. So this is going in the inner corner, and it's a sparkly shade, and this is like a fluffy brush. Last thing I want is for major fallout. Now I know that is like a dark shade, and people are probably thinking, well, why are you putting that in there in the corner? Let's see how it goes. I'm actually switching to a smaller flat brush. I want to be more precise with this application, so I'm switching to a brush. I'm switching to a different brush. I already dipped it in the MAC Fix Plus, picking up that shade. Now I feel like this sparkly shade is kind of the oddball out when it comes to this palette. I don't know why this is the eye look I envisioned when I saw this shade, and I think it looks very pretty. Okay, and here is eye look number 1. Now I'm not done. I still need to do my eyebrows, finish off the rest of the face, but I wanted you to see what it looked like with mascara on. I went in to the e.l.f. Lash and Roll and the Fenty Hella Thick mascara. I just felt like it needed a statement eyelash, and I don't really wear eyelashes, so going a little heavier on the mascara was the way to go for me. I did go in to this Kajal eyeliner, satin Kajal eyeliner in Olive from Victoria Beckham, only on the outer corner, both in my waterline and to tight line. And yeah, so let's get started on the second eye look. Okay, I brought you in closer, and I just realized that I should have done that with the first eye look.
Apologies.
Okay, let's go ahead and start with Flax. Oh, and I looked it up. It's Yucca That's how you pronounce it. Yucca. At least that's what Google says. Sigma and Samantha Detailed Blending Brush. I'm going to start in the outer corner as well. Okay, so this shade is not as dark as I thought it was going to be, but I think it's dark enough. If you need depth in your palettes, you at least have this shade. Lower lash line as well. Okay, now we're going to jump into this shade right here, which is Valley. And this is a little Natasha Denona brush. It came in the I think it was the Metropolis mini eye kit. I'm going to use this to blend out the edges of this brown and wing out my eye look as well. You already know, if you've been here for a while, the shade in as well. Okay, that's what we're looking like. Now I kind of want to use this one. Fushi. This is a BK Beauty 202, and this is a cream to powder. Some people don't like this formula. I personally do. Okay, use this on the edge of all those shades. I'm lightly dipping into it because I don't want to add too much pigment right off the bat. This is a very fluffy brush. You don't have as much control if you used a little bit of a smaller brush, but I really want this to be diffused out, so that's why I picked. And I think I'm going to use some of that like orangey shade. Okay, now with this Sigma E42, I'm going to dip into this pretty orange here. Ixia, IXIA, very powdery, not a problem for me. It's gonna go right in here. And I am going to pick up some of that yellow shade, Fushi, and blend out the edges of this one as well. Okay, now comes shimmers. And I think I'm going to, I feel like these two are probably very close to each other. So I think I'm going to start with this one in the middle, and then I'll start and I'll put this one in the inner corner. So the first one is Ray. And I think it's the only like metallic kind of satin shade in the palette. NYX Glitter Glue, I'm not sure I mentioned it. So this is going to go right in the middle. And I'm using the brush because it just, the application is a lot softer when you use a brush versus your fingers. So I'm using the brush for this, and then for the other shimmer, I'll use my finger. And this is the E45 from Sigma. Okay, and then now with my index finger, going to jump in to Plantasia. Oh, it looks so pretty. This one, I feel like the base is a little bit sheer. So the base is not super existent. Okay, you can't tell too much of a difference between the inner corner and the middle, other than maybe the inner corner is a tiny bit more sparkly, but as far as like shade goes, you can't tell too much of a difference. Okay, a little bit of white concealer in the inner corner. I think I'm going to jump into this green right here. Citrine. I don't want to use that bright green because I already have it on this eye look. So I want to use this one. And I'm using the Samantha and Sigma Detail Shader brush. I just want to be precise. Hopefully it's not too dark of a shade to go in the inner corner. Okay, so let me finish off the rest of this eye look and I will be right back. Okay, my lovely face is nice and completed. Here are both eye looks. For the eyeliner, I went in to the Melt Cosmetics Slick Waterline Pencil in Caramel. I thought that actually went fairly well. For the mascara, same thing, e.l.f. Lash and Roll, and the Fenty Hella Thick Mascara. It's still a very watery formula, and I feel like I've had it for at least a month, and it's still as wet as when I first opened it up. But it is still a very pretty mascara. Okay, so eye look number 1. Eye look number 2. I don't know which one's my favorite. I'm going towards the green one. I don't know what it is. Even though I do enjoy this one, it's very warm toned. The green one is just catching my eyes a tiny bit better. For the lips, I have on the Victoria Beckham Lip Definer in shade number 3 and the Natasha Denona Gloss from the My Dream collection. Okay, so I will go ahead and hand you over to eye look number 3. Okie dokie. Eyes are primed. Let's start on this third eye look. And I haven't used this shade, this one, and this one. So 2 shimmers and 2 mattes, right? Okay, so let's start with, I feel like I'm stuffy. I'm having allergies. So that's why if I sound like I'm sick, it's my allergies. So I think this one's a tiny bit darker than this one. So we're gonna use these 2 shades and hopefully we can tell the difference between the shades. But I'm going to start with this one here, which is called Acacia. And I'm going to use this little Natasha Denona brush that came in the Metropolis mini. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the outer corner and I'm going to tap first. But my husband's mowing the lawn. If you hear noise, that's what it is. Beautiful, beautiful color. I seriously feel like I'm sick with a cold. That's how bad my allergies are right now. Okay, and then now with this Melt brush, I'm going to dip into that other green shade, Tipu. Let's see if you can even see a difference between the 2 shades. Sometimes the shades can seem a bit redundant if they're too close in depth or tone. Okay, but I definitely feel like you can tell a difference between these 2 shades. And it's more in the undertone. I feel like Tipu is a little bit more of like a mossy green, and the other one, Acacia, maybe shows up a tiny bit more on the olive side. Not a huge difference. For some people they might seem redundant, but I think you can see a difference between the 2 shades. Okay, that's what we're looking like. Now I'm going to jump into Flax, the darkest matte in the palette. And this is the Sigma and Samantha Detail Blending Brush. I'm going to add this in the outer corner. Not too much, just a tiny bit. Lower lash line. Okay, that's what it's looking like. I did go into some NYX glitter glue, and now we're going to jump into the 2 shimmers. So we haven't used this one or this one. I think I'm going to start with this one in the middle, which is Makia, M-A-K-I-A. It's gonna go right in the middle. So it's pretty green. Very pretty. Okay, be careful. It's a very chunky shade. I did have a tiny bit of fallout, even though I put glitter glue. Okay, now this shade here, which is called Komorebi. If I'm wrong, let me know down below. This one is not as sparkly as that first shade I used. Even though it looks like it is, it's not as sparkly as this one. Okay, this eye look came out pretty green. Now we're going to jump in to Fushi right here. I'm gonna see if I can use that in the inner corner. I feel like it pulled pretty yellow in the second eye look, so I think I might be able to use it. I didn't put any white concealer or anything. It's a cream to powder, so I think it's pretty pigmented. Okay, let me go ahead and finish off the rest of the face, and then we can get into swatches and whatnot. Okay, my lovelies, here is the third and final eye look. It came out a tiny bit more green than I anticipated, but I feel like with this palette, it's kind of expected. I kind of just went with the flow, and even though I did keep in mind what shades I had not used already, I just went with what was calling out to me. I did go into the Melt Cosmetics Water Slick Eyeliner in Caramel for the waterline. I did a tight line with it. Same mascara combo, same lip combo, Victoria Beckham Natasha Denona lip gloss, and everything else I will have linked down below, so make sure to check the description box. Okay, so this Yucca palette from Natasha Denona. I enjoy her formula. I think she has a very good formula, and I know these shimmers, it says that they're new from what I read. I feel like she kind of failed a tiny bit when it comes to the shimmers in this palette, because the first two shimmers I used for the first eye look, which is this one here and then this one here. On the pan, they do look different, but once we put them on my eyelids for that the second eye look, I feel like you couldn't tell the difference between the two. And then for this eye look, which I used this one and this one, they look different in the pans, don't they? But on the eyelids, I feel like you can't really tell a difference between the two shades. I mean, you can a tiny bit. Just looking at it, you would probably guess that I only have one shimmer on. And then this one is completely different from the other shimmers. I feel like she maybe could have included one that was maybe a little bit more warm tone, that kind of had an undertone of this or this. Yeah, just the shimmers are a little too redundant. But everything else performed beautifully. This one, I will have to play with it a tiny bit more. This Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer is very liquidy, and today was my first time using it. So I don't think I blended it out completely, but I feel like I do need to play with this a tiny bit more. It was definitely pigmented. I just feel like because of the nature of the color, there was a couple of areas where it did look a tiny bit patchy and like it didn't lay down completely. So I'll need to play with that shade, but everything else performed absolutely stunning. I enjoy the Natasha Denona formula. It's one of my top favorite formulas. She does a really good job with her eyeshadow palettes. I feel like I'm never really disappointed with her palettes. It's mostly the color stories that I feel have maybe disappointed me from time to time. Okay, now we're going to jump in to some swatches. I'll start with this row, then the middle row, and then this one. Hopefully I can fit them all on the back of my hand. Since I have tattoos, that's why I don't swatch on my like forearm. Okay, so let's start here and go down. Okay, I know some people look forward to the swatches. I'm not one of those. I usually skip through the swatches. I don't know why, I just do. Definitely don't swatch super pigmented, and I do feel like you definitely have to build up these green tone shades. Can you tell I don't swatch on camera often? That green one didn't swatch all that well. My kids are downstairs. Probably gonna make tons of noise. That one swatched really pretty. It's a really nice shade right here. Okay, now we're going on to the last row. Ooh, that citrine shade. No, is it citrine? No, the Fushi, that yellowy mustardy shade. It feels very dry. Oh, that one swatched nice. Ooh, but it swatches like a dream. Okay, last two shades. both creamy mattes. Okay, and those are the swatches. Not bad, not bad. Some of these, you can definitely tell that you're probably gonna have to build them up just a tiny bit. But as you saw with my eye looks, I had no issues at all. Okay, my lovelies, well, that's going to be it for this video. I guess you could say it's a review, 3 eye looks, 1 palette, all in one. Hopefully this video is not too long, but I really did want to create 3 different eye looks for you. I feel at this point, we have so much makeup that you can probably recreate the eye looks that I did with this palette with probably shadows that you have in your collection. So this review is mostly me showing you the eye looks that I can create with it and whether that's something you would like, because that you can find these shades in your current collection, I'm 100% sure that you can. If you do end up picking it up, you're not going to be disappointed. Natasha Denona's formula is really nice. Okay, my lovelies, well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. You have no idea. All the comments, all the likes. If you use my links to shop, it truly means the world to me. I hope you enjoyed the eye looks. Please do not forget to let me know down below which eye look is your favorite. I think for me, it's between eye look 1 and this one. Okay, with that being said, I would love it if you gave this video a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, and you would definitely help me out in the algorithm of hopefully bringing some new and fresh eyes to my channel. And if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you joined my small YouTube family by clicking the subscribe button. I would love to have you. My husband's mowing the lawn. I guess he forgot that I'm filming. Good thing I'm done. Okay, I will see you all on the next video.